as a lighty, I never imagined this is how it would end up for me. My first job in life, in a little tlhokomela leruo la ga rre. 8 years young, but I was in charge of my father's wealth. Somehow, I was at ease doing it. The first time in my life I got really scared was when I came to the city. I remember walking through the streets of the township looking for a place on the night of my arrival, thinking there are snakes everywhere. And that's when I got a job here. And then I saw them again, snakes everywhere. This is the thing. If you've grown up herding cattle, the lessons of the snakes are never far from your brain. The snakes that I saw as a young boy were different from the ones of the city, but the same. The puff adders of the city are also camouflaged, hard to see, like abutsotsi, scallops, hiding in the shadows, just lying there, waiting. You have to learn how to look for a puff adder and how to step around it. We have cobras here too, things that warn you before striking. And pythons, issues that start small but can turn into a big problem. Then there are the rats, which are the behaviors that attract the snakes. 25 years ago, fresh from Emakaya, the village, I had already mastered the art of always being alert. It was easy for me to spot the snakes. In the beginning, I kept it to myself. But one day, a friend in my work team, Vusi Chabalala, got killed. And 3 weeks later, Daniel died. So I decided to share my idea. Snakes for? Snakes for? Snakes for? Halala! Yanum puff adder. Kiddy camouflaged hazards. Taka tracker or a trainer, and the next thing, matat. Yanum the cobra, kiddy warning hazards. Now the python is what we call growing hazards. At first they made fun of me, but then it started to work. One day somebody said something to me on the plant, something that I will never forget. He said to me, "Reka phela ka tsela e." We can live by this. But there was the growing presence of snakes outside the plant that I think distracted us. The python of corruption that was collapsing our economy. The weak rand, the cobra that was the arrival of Chinese steel that our customers were starting to buy, that was landing here cheaper than we could make it. And then the COVID clouds came rolling in. Sometimes during those uncertain days, I'd look at the plant at night and imagine it to be a ship in a terrible storm, a ship in danger of sinking. My mind would take me back to a famous story about another ship that sank, one that probably was carrying one of my forefathers, the Mendi. The Mendi was a South African troop ship that was carrying close to 1,000 Zulus, Pondos, Xhosas, Sothos towards World War I. They never became famous for how they fought. They never even got there. They became famous for how they died, standing on the deck in their regiments, like warriors singing and doing what became known as the death dance. As slowly they drowned as their stricken ship sank beneath the sea. I often thought about that story of the Mendi when I looked out at our own ship, and I wondered if the final hour would ever come for us as well. But the storm never came. Somehow the captains of the ship managed to steer us through the storm. There's a saying about dying that goes, no one on their deathbed ever bemoaned the fact that they never spent enough time in the office. And so it has been with me. The snakes for safety king. Always thinking about the snakes at work. The snakes are everywhere. Even at home.